Senator Ted Cruz is calling for the New York Times and the Washington Post, both winners of the 2018 Pulitzer Prize, to return their awards. In a tweet today, he said, quote, "If they had a shred of integrity, they would return the Pulitzers."
This was, I believe, the greatest internal coup within the federal government that our nation has ever seen. And Trump said, they're wiretapping me. He was right. Trump said they're coming after me. He was right. Trump said this is a witch hunt. He was right. Listen, there are lots of things that Trump says and does that I don't agree with. But the behavior of DOJ and the FBI in this investigation is, without exaggeration, the most shameful chapter in the history of the Department of Justice and the FBI. And there is yet to be real accountability for this absolute abuse of power.
The Durham report highlights many egregious examples of garbage journalism, including a Times report from December 2017, which claimed that in May of 2016, George Papadopoulos, the young foreign policy advisor to Donald Trump, quote, made a startling revelation to Australia's top diplomat in Britain, namely that Russia had political dirt on Hillary Clinton and Moscow had thousands of emails that would embarrass Mrs. Clinton. Yet the Australian diplomat in question, Alexander Downer, told the Durham probe that, quote, Papadopoulos made no mention of Clinton emails, dirt, or any specific approach by the Russian government to the Trump campaign. In fact, Durham found the Papadopoulos information was so not startling that agents immediately dismissed it. But the New York Times report was critical in triggering the FBI probe into Donald Trump's alleged collusion with Russia, which the Durham report has now found should never have been launched. A New York Times spokesman told the Columbia Journalism Review, which, by the way, wrote a scathing review of the Times' abysmal journalism ethics in its coverage of this story, it reported the Russiagate saga, quote, thoroughly and in line with our editorial standards. The Washington Post told the DailyMail.com that it, quote, stands by its reporting. Which leads me to this hilarious public service announcement from the Babylon Bee.
Watch for these signs that your news anchor is lying to you. The first sign that your news anchor is lying to you is if they are talking. That's a red flag that they're lying to you. They gesticulate wildly while talking, like this. Liars! They are an anchor and they are giving the news. Wake up, America! Now here's a huge red flag. They look very concerned. Another red flag is if they don't look very concerned. They blink. They don't blink. If they won a Pulitzer Prize, there's a good chance that they're lying to you. They say things like, I am not lying right now, or I swear I'm telling the truth. Right. This one's borderline, but if they are caught in a hot mic saying that last story was a total lie, they might be lying. If they have a common first name like Chris, Brian, Don, or Joe, or they have a last name like Cuomo, Stelter, Lemon, or Scarborough, pretty suspicious. Which is boomer for sus. If they begin their broadcasts with, in today's news. And finally, they are using their lungs and vocal cords to produce sounds in a semblance of linguistic expression. Do the math.
Now, if you are as outraged as we are here at Americans for Limited Government, please like and share this video with your friends. And finally, subscribe to Americans for Limited Government on YouTube.